And Frank Qualtier is a channel manager for the the commercial door operators. He focuses on the marketing of the sales growth of the LiftMaster commercial door line. He's been around since, 2008 with LiftMaster and as an inside sales coordinator. In the past, you've been involved in sales in Indiana, Kentucky, national account manager with LiftMaster's OEM partners. And with that, I'd like to introduce Frank Qualtier.
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me okay? Great. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Sherry for bringing up my display of the new light curtain, which we'll get to in a few minutes here. And I'd also like to thank the Service Spring team. They've made a great effort at doing these webinars / in-person seminars just to really add value and to help our dealers understand the rapid changes in the marketplace, new products. So thanks again to Service Spring for having us. This has been a great program. We're happy today to come in and talk strictly about safety. LiftMaster as a company and as our industry, safety should be #1 thing on our minds all the time. First of all, ourselves out there working on stuff, we always want to be safe, but then we also want our end users to always be safe in their facilities, whether it's their home, their business, their gate, whatever. So we're going to focus on safety today. We have some new accessories, we have some updates, and I look forward to going through all those with you today. So on the agenda, we're just going to review the UL 325 standards. They have not changed since 2010 when we made the last revision, but we're just going to review those and talk about them. Then we're going to go over some commercial door safety aspects, some things that LiftMaster's bringing to the table to help you make sure all your sites are safe. And then I'm going to talk to you about some of our safety devices, some of the photo eye options that we have, some of the new edges that we're offering, as well as the new light curtain. So UL 325 on commercial door operators. As Sherry was alluding to, there's really two pieces of this. There's what the manufacturer has to do, and then there's what you all, the installers, have to do. So this is what LiftMaster has to do, okay? We have to use one of the following safety systems in our commercial door operators in order for it to work. First of all, we have an inherent RPM sensor. That RPM sensor is constantly measuring the travel of the door and the speed, and if it notices any anomaly, it'll automatically stop and reverse the door. However, in addition, you must have a monitored safety device if you want to use that operator in momentary contact operation. So there's two ways that you can use the operator in the field. You can say, I don't want to use safety devices at all, and I will use the 3-button station to hold open and hold close, and that is UL saying, I know that that person's in line of sight of the door, they can see the door moving, so if anybody's in the way, I'm going to let go of the button. However, most applications do not want to hold the button open or closed, so what we see is an external monitored entrapment protection, typically a photo eye. However, there's edge options available as well. So that leaves it up to you, the dealer installer, to finish the UL 325 compliance, which is making sure that these things are installed correctly. Although our commercial door operator has the UL label on it when it comes out of the factory, if the installation is not done correctly, that's not a UL approved installation. For example, I walk into many auto service stations, fire stations, where the photo eyes are at about 3 feet off the ground. I understand why the dealer did it. They're trying to not only protect people, but also protect property. However, you're violating UL regulations. If something happens, once again, you're held liable. So we're going to show you some ways that you could overcome those types of situations in the future. And this is just some facts. Once again, don't chance it, check it. That's something that we're saying across all of our product lines. Commercial doors are obviously large moving structures that can be very unsafe if not installed correctly. Right now, 3 out of 5 commercial door operators do not meet the current UL 325 standards. While that number looks big, we did just go through that change in 2010, and all of the older operators were grandfathered in. So if you had installed an operator in 2008 and it has not had any problems since then, that's still UL 325 approved because it was manufactured and installed prior to that date. However, it doesn't mean that there's not reason to go back out, install some safety equipment, and get it up to what the code would be. All of our commercial door operators comply with the UL 325 standards. We took a hard line that we will not sell stuff that doesn't meet those standards. Unlike residential that Sherry talked about, it is not a federal law. It's strictly a guideline and a mandate. However, we believe in those guidelines and mandates and believe that they're very important. We do not want to see any kids, people get hurt. So we only manufacture UL 325 commercial door operators. And then once again, getting back to the entire installation, it's not just the manufacturer's responsibility, it's everyone's responsibility. It's all of our responsibility to ensure that a safe installation occurs. As Sherry talked about as well, is we have safety checklists, and we also came out with one on the commercial door operator side. And I wanted to point this out because I've had a chance to meet with some dealers and they found this tool to be very, very useful. One, it helps legitimize what you're doing out there. A lot of times as a dealer I hear, I tell them that this is broken or unsafe, but they don't believe me because they think I'm just trying to charge them extra or whatever. So LiftMaster's put together the safety checklist to say, here's what the LiftMaster organization, the manufacturer, recommends that we check for and ensure are in good working condition. You can see some of those pieces on here. For the operator, we look at the cycle count. We look at the monitored photo eyes and edges. We make sure those eyes are 6 inches off the ground. And then there's also a checklist for sectional doors. There's one for rolling doors. There's even one for fire doors. So it's pretty in-depth. And this is a great piece to hand to your customer, let them know what's in working condition, what's close, and what needs to be changed out right away in order to keep that door safe. In addition to that, we've got some great resources as well. This is a video that walks you through exactly how to do a safety check at an end user site using that safety door checklist. So I believe that the Service Spring team has posted that not only to the chatter, but they're also going to be posting that to their social media page. It's about a 10-minute video. I really encourage all of our dealers to take a look at that. It's really just a great step-by-step process of what do you want to do when you go out there, how do you want to go through the process, and how do you inform the customer of what needs to be updated. So the options that we have, anytime you order a Logic 5 or a medium duty UL 325 commercial door operator from us, you have the option to add whatever safety device you would like to add. So for photo eyes, we've got 4 different types of photo eyes, recognizing that not one photo eye meets all the applications out there. So we have our standard CPSUs. Those are the ones that you all, I'm sure, have had much familiarity with, as they're our standard NEMA 1 photo eye. But then you have the CPS UN4s. Those are our standard NEMA 4 photo eyes. Those are the big yellow photo eyes. Work great in long distance range in any type of damp environment. We also have 2 additional photo eyes that we have introduced in the last couple of years. The first one is the CPS RPN4, which is the first monitored reflective photo eye that we've offered. So the great thing about that is for the installers, before 2010, you were able to get in and out of a commercial door installation pretty quickly. Wiring photo eyes adds quite a bit of time to your installation. So by adding a reflective monitored photo eye, you only have to wire to one side of the door, which helps you get in and out of that job site much quicker. In addition, you can actually wire that photo eye to the 3-button station, and it makes for a very clean install. In addition, we have the new CPS Open 4s, which are third to the right from there, and those are rubber flexible photo eyes that just seem to work fantastically. They've got great range. They're NEMA 4X, so once again, protecting from any water, corrosive environments. And the great thing about them is in those environments where you might have agriculture, animals, a lot of moving pieces where those photo eyes might get kicked out of alignment, these photo eyes are made out of rubber and they will flex back into place. So it's just great for those types of environments. I have a lot of customers that use those strictly on any of their installs. In addition, we have some option cards. So many installations don't require just one photo eye. Many installations you're going to need a photo eye and an edge, or maybe 2 sets of photo eyes, depending on what the install requires. A CPS3 card allows you to add a second set of monitored photo eyes or a monitored edge. So that's a nice option card to know about. We also offer a CPI box. This is a nice product for installing a secondary photo wire edge. However, it will not be a monitored photo wire edge. So if you're going to choose between those two, I would recommend the CPS3 card, because then both of your safety devices are fully monitored. And then next, our Optical Edge, which is another newer product that we've come out with recently. And what this is actually a edge that has the same photo eyes we just talked about plugged into each side of the edge. So rather than using electrical contacts in this edge, you actually have a photo beam going through the edge. A lot of great benefits to this. We sell these at the rubber itself in 50-foot bulk rolls. We'll be moving to 70-foot bulk rolls next year. And then we sell the components separately, the photo eyes. So in effect, you can cut your own edges to length very, very quickly, put the photo eyes in, and have a door edge ready for your customers within minutes. So rather than special ordering products, rather than taking measurements and waiting the time, you can literally have an edge that's ready to go for your customers immediately. What it does is it sends an infrared beam through the tube. This tube is highly reflective on the inside, so if you have minor kinks in it, it will still go through. It's also monitored, so once again, this can be your primary device. So for those applications where you do not want to use a photo wire, or a photo wire might not make sense, you can use the edge instead. And you do not need an option card. You can plug this right into your LMEP in common. So just another great option. In addition, it is NEMA 6 rated. So if you have flooding or water, this will continue to work. This product is fully submergible in water, and it will continue to work just fine. The other great thing is, because you're using eyes and no electrical contacts, if you get little cuts in the rubber, nicks, scratches, it's not going to affect the usage of the product as long as the I-beams can still see through the tube. We have a sectional edge as well as a rolling door edge. They come in 16 and 24-foot kits if you know that you have one for a specific door, or you can bring in the 50-foot bulk edges and then make your own kits to size for your doors. Another new product that we've come out with is our light curtain. And this is a product that we've been very excited about. You can see the display here as well. And what this is for is really for protecting people, but everything else as well in these environments, such as fire stations, auto service stations, where photo eyes at 6 inches is going to save people, but it's not going to save the valuable property that's in the business, such as a fire truck, such as just a regular truck at an auto service center. Obviously, there's bumpers that will overhang. We've all seen that where the photo eyes do not get disconnected, but something still comes down on a vehicle, a fire truck, whatever it may be. It causes lost time, lost money for the end user as well as the dealer. So we came out with this light curtain. This is a miniature version of it for the display purposes, but it's 36 inches in height. It can be put anywhere along the door, and you can also stack them. So you can use more than one if you would like to. It's NEMA 4 rated. There are 8 LEDs up and down each side of the light curtains, and those send 22 beams across each other to protect that entire space. So there's really a much safer, much higher area that you're covering and keeping safe. The maximum range is also 33 feet, so this will work on pretty much any application. This display shows fire stations, and on the other side you can turn it around and see auto service. And those are really the two markets that we're focusing on for this. I actually got the opportunity to go out to a couple fire stations and auto service centers before we released the product to do some voice of customer, and they basically said, yes, put these in, how fast can we get them? Because one door coming down on a vehicle far outweighs the cost of adding light curtains to your doors to protect those. I went out to a fire station and talked with a fire chief who said that every time a door comes down on a fire truck, not only does that truck need to be recertified, that's a $25,000 cost, and the driver could eventually be on suspension. So there's a lot of things that happen here, and really that driver most of the time is just trying to get out of the door as quickly as possible to go save someone from a fire. So a light curtain's a great way to make sure that if he's rushing out that door, this will stop and reverse the door before it hits anything. These light curtains are not monitored, so they cannot be your primary form of entrapment protection. Today you must add your primary protection safety, so either the edges that we went over or the photo eyes, and then the light curtain would be in addition to those devices. The light curtain will hook up directly to Edge in common on our board. It's extremely easy installation. And then this is just an application photo that I wanted to share with you guys, and this is actually one of those fire stations that we went out and visited, and we outfitted them with really an entire package. And what we're trying to help our dealers see is really it's not just a door and motor installation. We're trying to present them with an entire solution. So do you need an operator? Absolutely. But what are you going to use inside that operator to know when that door is open and closed if you're a fire station or an auto service station? That's why we offer the great red-green light to allow the customers to know whether the door is open or closed. This door is also outfitted with an optical edge. Also outfitted with 2 sets of light curtains. You can see one on the lower edge of the door, and then you can see one at the higher end of the door. That higher end was actually because they had a bucket truck with the bucket sticking out, so that was to protect that side of the door as well. You've got the monitored CPS OPN4 photo eyes, so really this is showing not only a very, very safe application, but how you can lay it out, and in addition, make a little bit more money on the job site. That's all I have for today, but I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much. Steve?
Yeah, we got a few of them for you.
Great.
We're gonna dig into your legal expertise.
Great.
For an installer to go into a residence or a commercial application, and there is an opener that doesn't comply with safety standards, but the door needs working on, can they work on the door versus the operator, or how would you recommend they approach that?
So in residential, no. In residential, if that operator is pre-93, you shouldn't do any work on it, period. In commercial, the older openers prior to 2010 are grandfathered in. They are UL approved. You do not have to change out a perfectly good working motor and put in a new one to meet UL 325. However, I highly recommend adding safety entrapment protection to that operator, because if something were to happen and you were to end up in court, they will pull the latest version of the UL 325 code, and they will say, you know, it's a strong recommendation that everything gets a photo eye or a monitored protection device. Why did you not upgrade this when you went back out to the site? So that would be the answer. Yes, you can work on the door. If the motor's in good working condition, you can continue to use it, but add the safety devices and add them in the right places.
That leads to the next question. On the edges, will they work with older LiftMaster openers, and will they work with different brands?
It's a good question. What we found is that they are the primary with our operators only. They can be used with our older operators. You need one of those CPI boxes that I talked about earlier. And it will not be your primary device. So yes, this is a great edge for other applications, for other motors. You will need an additional component, and it will no longer be your primary. So it can only be your primary on any Logic 5 or medium duty units from LiftMaster. Yes, it will. So it's a dry contact. It will work on other brands. In fact, we've seen great success with other dealers that have been out there going out to fire stations that have perfectly good working motors, but offering them this as a solution. So yes, it will work. With some openers, you may need to get in touch with our tech support and get an additional device, typically that CPI box that we talked about. And it depends really on the makeup of the opener that you're working on. But yes, it will. It's a dry contact. It will work on anything. Sorry. So 2 questions. The first was, can the light curtains be monitored in the future? And the second question was, can dealers get this display? First question, the answer would be, yes, we're working on a monitored light curtain. We understand the need. I cannot give you a time frame right now. We don't fully understand when we'll be launching it. We like the product as is today, because you still, no matter what, have to have something at 6 inches. So if it's to be monitored in the future, you have to have a set starting at 6 inches, or it is not a UL 325 approved application. So we launched it non-monitored. We have seen other monitored light curtain products out there, and we are now in the development of a monitored light curtain, but the time frame is still to be determined. Secondly, call your LiftMaster sales rep if you're interested in a light curtain display. We do have a limited quantity, but if you really are going to be out there pushing these and you think that this would help you, we're more than happy to help you out.